Hello, collective. Welcome in from Milwaukee today. Today's go home day. Get to go home tonight, and I'm so excited. 13 on the timer. It's very significant to this message, and the fact going home is very significant to this message as well. So if you happen to see my short that I posted, let's see, it would be the morning of the 4th. The 1331 just kept coming up over and over, and I said, we'll get into it. I felt this message coming out, and as I was shuffling, preparing, some cards came out. And bottom of the deck is the Groundhog Spirit. Card number 31, and time to let go. So the last message I did yesterday, which was very chaotic, something about an energy letting go, but that particular message was about holding on. And now we've reached a point of letting go. I am going to put this in the playlist with Metatron's message. However, I will note, I feel something very ancestral coming through, like an ancestor having a message. And also noticing that Groundhog Spirit, groundhog, it lives deep in the earth, way down in, and a lot of times you don't even know they're there until you start seeing ridges in the ground. Hence, the bottom of this deck. We have separation. It's like this. It was deep underground, not seen. And then the first card out is the scene. So it feels as though you have noticed something different. It was 222 when I said that. You've noticed something in your experience is different, or this could be with energy, this could be physically seeing, maybe even seeing a difference in your body, because that message, I said something about how others see you from their mirror and how you see yourself in your mirror. I feel like that's significant. Let me just tell you a little bit more about the messages coming out. So this all relates to a dream that I had 2 days ago. There were 2 scorpions. One was black, one was tan, and the tan one was in front. And we were in some apartment, and there were 3 young children. And I said, oh my gosh. And the tan scorpion was so different looking, I wasn't even sure it was a scorpion. And so I got the kids to safety, basically. 2 kids sat on the bed. 1 kid was over near this, what appeared to be a cedar chest. So something about cedar, okay, the scent of cedar. Oh, and protection. You use that to protect your clothes from moths getting in. Moths don't like the scent. Okay, I see where we're going here. And then, like, they were just putting toys away and da-da-da-da-da. And I looked at my dad and I said, are you gonna clean that up? And then he grabbed a broom and started sweeping the floor, and I am telling you what, the dust and the gunk that was, gunk is not the right word, stuff coming out of the floor, like rising up, like the dirt grew, something to that effect. And then I realized that the one little boy had almost fallen asleep halfway on top of this cedar chest and his feet on the ground. Kind of like stuck in motion kind of sense. And when I left the airport last night, we came down an escalator, and in baggage claim, this little boy was so tired that there were 2 suitcases stacked up, you know, in front of him. And that's literally how he was laying, was his part of his body was on these 2 suitcases and the other 2 on the ground, and he was on his side. I don't know if that's significant, but it was the same manner in my dream. And in my dream, I went over and I picked him up and I put him on the cedar chest itself fully so that he could rest more at ease. Okay, that was the dream, most of it. Now, today, as I sit down, today is the 4th, and it was 8:14 when I sat down. So yesterday, this 3's 13:31 was so significant, 6:31 on timer as I say that. Today, this 4's seem to be incredibly important. So maybe that's something you will be seeing. There's something about popcorn or popping and cracking. And the popcorn reminded me of how, you know, people say, like, there's drama happening online and they'll say, oh, I'm going to break out the popcorn. Let me just sit down here with the popcorn. So getting a kick out of watching a drama play out, watching someone else's suffering and getting a kick out of that. Then the pops and cracks reminded me of, we talk about that when we get older, in old age. Oh, everything's popping and cracking. And that's leading me to this ancestor. And then also noting that that has to do with chiropractic care and a healing or a moving, and something about the hips or the sacral and root chakras, something about that area of your body could be very significant. Yesterday's message had to do with being in the spotlight, and within that I was getting the words highlighting or highlighters, like a group of people are highlighters. Maybe you've been drawn to highlighters recently, and maybe this is to get your attention. I'm not sure. That's just what I was seeing. And then this whole cleaning up from the dream, it was something deep, and like the more you cleaned, the more came up. So reminded me of the popcorn. It looks small, but then you get this huge bowl of popcorn from this very small layer of kernels. Also, the carpet, rug, flooring, so something covering up the real floor. So again, that would relate to that sacral energy. Covering the true flooring or foundation is what I have written. So let's see here. Let's start here. I have a lot more written. I'm not sure if we're going to get to that in this reading. So the scene. You've seen something that feels like it was buried deep. Now, what we have is the golden thread. So this is that connection to spirit, the divine. This feels very higher self, which has come out in a few readings. We have inner autumn. Okay, I just heard the rise and the fall. Oh, that came out in a collective reading. the rise and fall of the collective. And I said, I don't know what that means. So perhaps this is leading back to that. The rise and fall of the collective. And then we have ancestral healing. So our ancestors being different parts, the rise and the fall of our being. And maybe there's a part of our ancestry, heritage, that runs through our DNA, that we enjoy the drama, we enjoy seeing it, and kind of get a kick out of watching someone else's suffering. Maybe that's for someone. That could be a selective group. So take that only if it resonates. That's really important right now to really discern what's for you. Now with these ancestors, I was getting a very Nordic vibe, pagan vibe, parts of your ancestors that I'm hearing contributed, participated in some very harsh realities. And it feels as though that's something that the world we have evolved from, and that there's also something still there. Oh, it's lessened. It's okay, very animalistic, so maybe even gruesome, but they're showing me it relates to this getting a kick out of watching other people suffer. So I'm getting, well, yeah, but at least I don't do that. It's still the same basic energy underlying, underneath, digging deep in and helping transmute that old ancestry, bringing it to the light, highlighting it to be able to heal this, and which in turn feels as though it allows these ancestors to rest easier. 1301 on the timer when I looked up. Now, when you dig deep in, we have the chamber of power and deeper than before. This feels as though you may feel as though you have dug deeper than before within. I'm seeing a clearing, something leaving, time to let go. And look, I'm just noticing this card highlighting down here where would be that hip sacral energy. Something about this is being allowed to be brought up. Okay, we're moving on to the other cards that came out. This is the Animal Oracle, and I have, first card out was the Stag Spirit, 58, and then card number 18, Deer Spirit. Take the lead and bring a gentle touch. That's that softening to this energy that once got such a kick out of seeing other people suffer. And this could definitely be a side of self that maybe you didn't want to see. Okay, then we have Rhino Spirit, overcome any obstacle. So card number 50 and card number 67, Wolf Spirit. Turn knowledge into wisdom. And I feel like that's now because you've seen something. You've seen what was unseen prior. Now, also interestingly enough, the first two cards were 58 and 18. And the second two cards are 50 and 67. So we have lots of fives here and change. So 58 is 13. The first card out and the last card out are both 13. This 13, 31. 18 equals 9, which is coming to the end of something, ending something softly. I feel as though there's an ancestor coming forward, and this might be for only a few people, okay? So take only what resonates for you. But it feels as though an ancestor spirit has recognized a painful ending themselves and is recognizing that, wow, maybe the way I did things and kind of found joy in that before, wow, now I know what it's like on the other side, and it doesn't feel so good. You may even resonate as one being who has come here to clear karma, clean something up. And just look at, with the rhino and the two horns, do you remember in the Metatron messages, the devil's horn was coming up, and that's what it's reminding me of. So, yeah, a devilish way about yourself. I see this could be a sarcasm. Which I've always loved some good sarcasm. I'm not feeling that energy progressing anymore, so I don't feel like we're going to talk about it a lot. I feel like you know if this is for you. So that brings me to the veil, the lightning, the whitening could be a word that you use. This is this expanded consciousness, the higher self. You're more connected now than you were before. So recognizing that, and okay, forgiveness for self, forgiveness for others, in past actions and past life. I wrote down lifting and being removed. You can see farther now. So this goes back to that spiritual amnesia message that came out. And you can see farther in the past and in the future. That's what came out. What I got also is that during this time, you may feel a little more vulnerable. You will know if this message is yours from that sense. You may just have this sense that you just feel vulnerable in the world. You feel like you need an added layer of protection. that came out in that reading about the shawl around this heart space. And it feels like this comes with a word of caution, that in this time of something being lifted, perhaps the veil being thin, or times when the veil is thin, your veil is thin. Okay, it's not a timing, it's not a season, it's your veil. When these times when your veil is thin and you have reached this point where you are so closely connected to your higher self that you can see more and you are more vulnerable to negative energies, low vibrations, and being mindful of that. So this sense of wanting to protect yourself, this is real. I just remembered the card that was under there. Look, this veil, the in-between. Yes, you may feel that you want an added layer of protection of some sort, and you can energetically create that for yourself. What else? Oh, so that brings me to these lower vibrations, alluring. So weird. I walk over here to do this reading and I realized I have 3 drinks and I brought brownies. I stopped and I looked over here and was like, why in the world did I bring brownies over here? I was like, I'm not coming here to eat. Like, why did I carry and why did I think I needed all this? But I did. So what came out? Brownies. When you are baking brownies, there's a very strong scent. It smells so good. Like your anticipation for it. You can't wait for it. You're like, oh my gosh, it smells so good. So that led me to herbs, plants, essences, and flowers, especially something about the scent of flowers. And when I went to write this down, what I heard was the scent they employ. And I thought, okay, that's a very unique way to say that. So I looked up the definition, like, how does this relate with this message? Employ, to use a skill. So there's the use of, the skill of, or the method of, for a particular purpose. So there can be some very alluring energies right now, and it's important for us to discern what is the purpose of this allure. Is it to allure us off course, or is it for us to stay on course? It was also bringing up the idea of being cautious at this time, being aware, very aware. That's the word, more than cautious. Be very aware of what you're eating and what you're consuming at this time, because of something running in the background. So this can be what you're watching. That's why this resonance is so important. You have to ensure that you resonate with it, and that something could be running in the background that you're not even aware of. And these scents, they take you somewhere. Maybe like the smell of brownies baking. When I think about that, that takes me back to childhood. that was always one of my favorite treats, and my mom would make those from scratch a lot when I was little. So these scents can take you somewhere. Think about the scent of someone's cologne and how that attracts you. Being mindful, what was their purpose when they put that on? Because I feel like their purpose and their intent comes through when you connect with that. So being very mindful. And then this last section that I had written, which I already mentioned, was like helping ancestors to the other side, helping them rest in peace, rest easier. So where else are we going to go with this information? What else do we need to know about? I feel like it's important to know a little bit more about this scent, the scent they employ, to use, or a skill, or a method. I feel like that's also like being very mindful when you put on perfume or cologne. What is the purpose? And also, there's something about covering up, because we have that cleaning up and deep within, covering up your own natural scent. What stinks that you're trying to cover up? That's what I'm hearing now. What an interesting message coming forward. What do we need to know here about scents? Scent. What do we need to know here? And the purpose, someone's purpose and use of. Okay, I'm picking up on perhaps one's ancestor that's stepping forward is talking about the use of alluring scents to make things happen in their way, the way they wanted it. Not necessarily for the highest good of all, just the way they wanted it to go. Oh. Seeing something that you hadn't seen before. Seeing how you have been lured into certain situations through scent. It's almost like a love potion, or we're talking about eating and consuming, could also be what lures you in to eat things that are not so healthy for you, like brownies. You know what? Moderation is fine. Consistently, probably not the best thing, right? What else about this luring? I'm hearing, what have you been mesmerized by? I'm also, what has food given you that you were missing down deep. So emotional eating perhaps is being highlighted. And then this scent, like being attracted to a person with cologne. Like so allured by the scent of how good that smells, but not seeing the stink underneath, the dirt underneath, not wanting to see it, but now you're recognizing something. So therefore, it's easier for you to say, well, yeah, that smells good, but I can see deeper now, deeper than before. It's become a turn knowledge into wisdom, the chamber of power. You know now something is not good for you, that it's a trick. You know it's a trick. Okay. Ace of Wands and Nine of Wands. A journey. 1 to 9. You're recognizing that this whole journey that you've been on has had some sort of a trickery energy to it. Page of Cups is on the bottom and you're like, I feel like I'm not so sure how I feel about this. Learning something about healing. And what do I do with this information? Page of Swords. It's definitely spiritual knowledge. You have come, and underneath that, the Empress. So, nurturing, learning to nurture yourself through this. Also, what you attract. You might be able to cover something. Oh my goodness, it's 11:11. My timer went off. Wow, that's crazy. Law of attraction. So no matter how much you try to cover something up, what's deep inside of you, your truest essence, is what you attract. And that's the importance of clearing something up. That's this 11:11. Your higher self, your ancestors. You're connecting something. 11:11. It's a match. You've seen it, and now you're connecting some sort of dots here. Okay, what is the guidance here? What do you need this collective to know? What do you want us to know at this time? This 888 collective. So they just brought me to 88. So we do have 58, 18. So we have 88, we have 55. And we have 13 out here twice. And then we would have 111 out here. No, 1111. So we have 13 out here twice and 31 out here once. I don't know exactly what here. What am I missing? 8 of Swords. We have another 8, so that's 888. And I felt so guided for this 888 collective. Okay. We have the 4 Cups, which it was, I'm recording this on the 4th, and it was 814. It was 814, 48, 8448. Okay. And then we have the Ace of Wands and the 9 of Wands, 19. 1819. Somebody needs to know that. Those numbers. 8448. Turning something around. The possibility. The impossible is possible. You're turning something around. What you've been separated from, you can now connect here in the in-between. Soul contracts and mercy. This is giving yourself forgiveness. This is forgiving ancestors, or possibly even forgiving your soul for what your soul did in the past. There's something here about that. What do you want this 888 collective to know? I'm hearing that opportunity of a lifetime again. Wow. I just said, I'm hearing opportunity of a lifetime again. What came out? Ear chakras. Notice messages that appear as sounds, music, and words from both external sources and within your mind. These messages are real answers to your prayer. If you've been questioning, like you keep hearing something in your mind, it's guides. Who exactly could be different for everybody and different at different times. But you are closely connected to this higher self, which is comprehending these messages more. And what do we have? Find balance. And it came out reversed, and it literally turned in front of me. So I'm going to take that as an imbalance. Find the balance between your work, rest, and playtime, and you will have more energy, harmony, and productivity in your life. Take a power nap. You could be feeling very tired. That's bringing me back to that dream of that kid, like half, and my experience last night, half on the suitcases, half on the floor, just like, oh my gosh, like you were walking and all of a sudden you're exhausted. So finding more balance. And something about ear chakras could be out of balance. You could feel, this could have something to do with dizzy, vertigo, needing more rest, possibly having ascension symptoms or buzzings or something to do with the ears. I'm also seeing that sounds, music, and words, both from external sources and within your mind, could be creating an imbalance in your body. And I did say something about moderation, right? The in-between. Okay, her necklace is really standing out. It's a 6-pointed star. If you can see that here. Perhaps you relate, I'm just noticing this card, she's looking up into the clouds. Maybe you feel, okay, the ear chakra's out of balance, vertigo, lightheaded. Maybe you feel like you've been walking around in the clouds and you're feeling the significance of becoming grounded, and that feels out of balance. but something about this grounding is very important. Power animal. Animals are so significant right now. Pay attention to what animals you see. I just heard on a billboard. That's for someone specifically, like everywhere. Like yesterday here at the hotel, they had a beautiful fire. And I just wanted to go sit outside. And when I was coming back in, a lady came in with a dog, which said service animal. So that could be significant for someone. Little teeny tiny thing. And he came straight to me, just straight up to me. And so I had to have a little conversation with him and say hello. Pay attention to that, of what animals are you attracting? Oh, what animals are drawn to you? There's a message there. What animals are drawn to you? This Empress, the law of attraction. What animals are drawn to you? Animalistic spirits, animalistic guides. A human's truest animalistic inner energy. We have shine from within on the bottom. We have Archangel Michael and God box. Again, this is something about surrender, forgiveness for yourself, having mercy for yourself as much as you do others. You're working very closely with this powerful archangel who's protecting and guiding you through this situation. And then God box. Write any worries, concerns, or desires on a piece of paper and put it into a special container called a God box as a way of letting go and allowing the divine to help you. It's time. It's time. Because whatever this is that's holding on to you, or you're holding on to, it's pulling your energy down. It's causing this disturbance. It's causing an imbalance. So it's time to ground. Call in your assistance. And it feels like writing this out in paper and literally putting it in a container. A ritual of some sort, okay? Maybe not a container, maybe burning it. But there's a ritual that I feel you're being guided to do, and I feel like you will know what's right. Whatever you sense inside, you'll know what that is. Okay, collective, that's where I'm going to leave this today. Thanks for joining me. I am glad you're here. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And I'm so excited for this channel, where it's going, where I'm going, where you're going. I'm excited to see it all. I'm ready to see all of us shine from within. All right, I will talk to you next time. Lead with love. Bye now.